Okay, today's video is about giving yourself full permission to recover. So, yes, full permission to eat a lot of food and to eat unrestrictedly, but just full permission to recover. And what does that mean? How is that different? To me, full permission to recover means that you are going to have the permission to have really, really, really crappy days, to feel really depressed and down, to sometimes feel hopeless, to feel defeated, to feel like you're surrendering, to feel like you're giving up, to feel like you're being judged by everyone around you. You have permission to experience and feel all of those things. So when you go into recovery, oftentimes, we talk about give yourself permission to eat. And yes, that's absolutely important. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I think sometimes what's overlooked is this permission to experience all, like the full gamut of what recovery brings, the emotions, the experiences you're going to have, all of the doubts that are going to come. It's okay to feel those things. It's absolutely okay, but you can't dwell on them and you can't allow them to affect or change your trajectory of your recovery. Now, when it comes to full permission to eat, what does that mean? Full permission to eat. The way that I was able to kind of wrap my head around that, sometimes people are like, how did you even start eating unrestrictedly? I don't even know. What I found was when I first started recovery, what I would do is I'd say something like, oh man, okay, I let's say I'm in the kitchen and it's lunchtime and I'm like, oh, I want a grilled cheese sandwich, but I also want cereal and I don't know what to do. And I want pizza. The pizza, leftover pizza sounds good. And oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be eating unrestrictedly, but I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to pick the sandwich and then maybe I'll see what happens. Like, I know, because I know if I want more, I have to eat it, right? And okay, I'm gonna have the sandwich, and I ate the sandwich, and now it's like, oh my gosh, crap, I still want the cereal. Cereal. Okay, I'm eating unrestrictedly. I'm supposed to have the cereal. Get the cereal out, have the cereal, and then you finish the cereal, and you're like, oh my gosh, the pizza. What's wrong with me? This isn't working. This is not normal. Like I should not be wanting to eat all this food. That's what I did at the beginning of recovery, and then pretty quickly I realized that feels really stressful, and there's so many decisions to be made each time I finish something and want to move to the next thing. So what I did was I thought, okay, rewind, do over, right? It's lunchtime. Oh my gosh, that grilled cheese sandwich looks so good, but also cereal sounds good and that leftover pizza sounds good. I know, I'm going to have all of it. I'm giving myself full permission in this very moment to have as many grilled cheese sandwiches as I want, to have as much cereal as I want, and I'm going to polish off that leftover pizza. I'm going to get it all out here and I'm just going to put it in front of me and I'm going to say, I have permission to eat all of this. And then I'm going to get started and I'm just going to get going, eating as much as I want. And I'm going to go as long as I want, eat as much of this as I want until I'm for sure done. Until I'm stuffed to the brim full and I feel like I could maybe go 5 minutes without eating. That's when I'm going to be done. And so that to me, when I started doing that and actually practicing that whole exercise of like telling myself I could do it and then actually putting it in front of me and saying, go for it, you can do this. That felt so much more comforting. And it's scary, obviously, like your eating disorder screaming at you, it's way too much food, but I was doing that anyways. So doing it the way that I started doing it, where I was giving myself like absolute full permission to eat as much as I possibly could, more than I could feasibly get in one sitting, felt a lot better to me than that first one where it was like, like I felt like I was just like pleading with my eating disorder, please give me permission to have this next thing. And oh, please. And it just felt like so wrong. I felt like I was messing up and doing things wrong versus when I told myself, you can have all of this stuff and you're doing it right. You are doing it right. I always tell people when they feel like they've had too much and they feel like they messed up or they did something wrong, I want you to pause, time out, hold on, pause and ask yourself just one question. Did you challenge your eating disorder? And if the answer is yes, then you did it right. You did a really good job. Awesome. By eating all that food, even though it felt wrong, because it was kind of chaotic and crazy and it was messy and it was more than you planned on, did all that stuff, did you challenge your eating disorder? Then yes. There's no room for guilt and anxiety then. You got to push it away and just stay focused on, this is getting me closer to rewiring. This is getting me closer to freedom from my eating disorder, and continue to carry on doing that. Now, when it comes to, people are listening to me say this right now and they're going, yeah, okay, so yeah, you're forgetting about the huge fear I have of weight gain, Becky. So I can't do that. Like in theory, I get what you're saying, but do you know how much weight I'm going to gain if I do that? And so what I did there was, instead of trying to micromanage or trying to, get a number in my head of like what seemed appropriate for me in recovery, what I told myself, and I remember this, like within maybe the first few days of really going at it with unrestricted eating, I remember thinking, I am going to recover no matter what. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell myself that I can have as much food excuse me. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. My daughter came in. I am going to allow myself to gain 100 pounds if I need to. I'm going to gain 100 pounds. If I gain 100 pounds and I'm still not mentally free, I'll keep going. But I'm guessing probably somewhere around 100 pounds I need to gain, because that's how hungry I feel and that's how much I've been suppressing my body weight. So when I went into recovery, I gave myself that permission to gain 100 pounds and then just see where I was at mentally. Now, lo and behold, I did not end up gaining 100 pounds in recovery. I gained a lot, but guess what? That number didn't really seem as terrifying, or what I thought would be as terrifying as maybe gaining 100 pounds. Now, if I went into recovery and said, I'm going to gain 5, 10, 15, maybe pounds. Maybe I have 15 pounds. Yeah, maybe. I tried it. Maybe I'll push myself to that. And then I far exceeded that, which I did. Hello, like that wouldn't have flown for me. I would have freaked out. So give yourself initially up front all this permission. You see what I'm saying? Like, set the bar really high. I'm gonna gain at least 100 pounds in recovery. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm going for it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna eat this much food and I'm going for it. Let's see what happens. That's abundance. That's allowing yourself to really go in aggressively and eat the things that you know you need to and want to eat without feeling all this fear that you might be overdoing it, or you might be messing up, or you might gain too much. So I want you to practice this skill in your own recovery and see if it doesn't help you in some way with the mental aspect. Allowing these opportunities to feel like you're doing the right thing than like you're always messing up or doing the wrong thing because you're overdoing it, whatever that means in recovery, right? That your eating disorder will convince you you're doing. You're not. If you're challenging your eating disorder and you're doing your very best, you're doing recovery and you will eventually rewire. So that's my message to you today. Bye.